Opera Lex lost a very dear member of our community. Ellen Rice was a champion for music in every possible way. She was a true advocate for the arts, and the work she did to support, encourage, strengthen the Lexington artistic community was amazing. Opera Lex is honored to announce the creation of the Ellen Rice Service Award in her honor. The first recipient of this award is another artistic pillar in this society. Founder of UK Opera Theatre and Lexington Singers, Phyllis Jenness. Unfortunately, Phyllis passed away this March at the age of 97, and what an incredible legacy she left. We now turn to talk with the people who knew these women best. Ellen's mother, Angela Rice, and Phyllis's wife and companion of more than 30 years, Dr. Lori White, and Ellen's great friend, Becky Eblin. Hello, and thank you all for being here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We are delighted that you all are here to share this evening with us and to talk a little bit about Ellen and Phyllis. I know we all have stories about both of them, and I have to say that Sandy Archer is the creator of these awards. A couple of years ago, as president, he was saying, I want to do something special, and he created these awards. So thank you, Sandy. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I'm just absolutely thrilled to be a part of the Opera Lex organization, and somehow being president for the last 2 years with another year to go. It's been very exciting to work with Dr. McCorvey and the UK Opera Theatre students, which are fabulous. One of the true highlights that I have is engaging our board of directors. And when I first came on, I met this timid young lady who was really passionate about what we were doing and really wasn't sure where she wanted to go with her involvement. And she started off just saying, can I help get some things for your auction and help set up the Encore event? And that was several years ago. And through that, she's become pretty much the main person running the auction, the silent auction for Opera Lex, as well as being so involved with the board and coming up with some amazing and wonderful ideas. Sadly, she passed suddenly this year. And prior to her passing, we had a wonderful conversation regarding her future with Opera Lex. And she was destined to be the vice president next year and probably the president the year after. And so this hit us hard from many, many ways, but mostly to miss a person of her caliber who gave everything and didn't ask for anything in return. And so when I decided that I wanted to help preserve her memory through Opera Lex, I thought one of the best ways to do that would be create the Ellen Rice Service Award. And I couldn't think of a better person to name it after, of course. And our first recipient, I couldn't think of a better person to give it to as well. And I'll talk about Phyllis a little bit later too. So I'm just thrilled that her mom, Angela, is here with us today so she can share some of her thoughts on what Ellen's role was in Opera Lex and her interest in the community, both in the arts and also in the library. She was very active in the library. Ellen, Angela?
Well, first of all, thank you, Everett and Sandy, for saying such wonderful things about Ellen. It chokes me up just a bit to hear these wonderful things about her, because she was timid and humble, and she never spoke of these things to me. She just kept it to herself and was this quiet servant. And then at her visitation, it all came towards me from the community, from Opera Lex, from the library, from her fitness group. She had friends I didn't know she had. And that is so meaningful to me, the connection she made and what people thought of her, and that I wasn't so aware. I often wish I knew so that I could have told her You're doing a wonderful job, Ellen. And I wish now that I had been able to really tell her how fabulous she was and how valuable she was and how competent, because she just wouldn't talk about those things, but she would show her joy. She was so happy when meetings were coming up for Opera Lex. I don't think she would have gone out of town if you had a meeting. She wouldn't have wanted to miss one. And she looked forward to it all day. And then she came home and she felt wonderful to be a part of the team. It meant so much to her to be liked and part of this Opera Lex team. So I'm going on too long at this point, but I have much more to say. But thank you all for making Ellen's life just so joyful, and she felt so appreciated by all of you. Thank you.
Well, I remember talking to Ellen one time, and it was after a meeting, and she came up and she said, "I just want to thank you." And I was like, "No, I want to thank you."
Exactly.
Because, you know, she was so quiet, and yet I said to her one time, "Ellen, you have probably secured 80%, if not 90%, of the encore auction items. How do you do that? I want to know." And she said, you know, with that smile that she has, she says, "Well, I just go up and I just ask." And I guess, Becky, you had to help her with all of those auction items to get get them all cataloged and get them ready for Opera Lex.
That's right. I coordinate and the display, and I just got to know Ellen a couple of years ago. I worked on 3 encores with her. And you're right, 2/3 at least, if not more, of those items. And even this year with our virtual encore, we're going to have about half the number of items we usually have. But she had already secured half of those before she passed in early February. And she just started working in January.
Wow.
Ellen was fearless. You know, she would ask anybody and everybody. And I'm not sure anybody ever turned her down. And I've reached out to all the donors when we changed how Encore was going to work this year, just to make sure that, you know, their donations were secure. And so many of those people have said, absolutely, because Ellen believed in this and that they still want to support her. So I think that just says a lot about her. And she was just a tireless worker.
Well, you know, one of the things that was so amazing to me, Angela, at the memorial service was all the people who came to support you and Tom and be there with the family, and from Orange Theory, where she had her own bike reserved, and she was the first person there in the morning, and so it was Ellen's bike and nobody else could be on it, and that was amazing to me. And then all of her work with the library, it just seems like she was doing so many things in the community, and never complained about any of it.
Oh. But Everett, really, I have to tell you that the very last place Ellen visited on the planet was to pick up a coupon or a gift
certificate
from the massage place for Opera Lex auction item.
Oh, wow.
That was the last place we went to a concert and a party, and on the way home, she said, "Mom, they're going to close in 5 minutes. Would you please pull into Dudley's, because I have to go in and pick up the gift certificate."
Wow.
And that was on her mind. I mean, that was, and you have that for your auction item this year.
Isn't that something?
Uh-huh.
We believe that that was her last communication, I believe, Angela. When she got home from there, she sent me an email and said, "I have this auction item," told me what it was, and that was less than an hour before she left.
I know.
Wow. That's
And then
amazing.
Phyllis had filled out her form for
Yes.
Ellen that very day.
Oh,
She
my
sent out
goodness.
voice lessons every year for Ellen, or for your people. So
That's right. That's right. Well, the award could not be going to a better person than Phyllis Jenness. You know, I was here. I knew Phyllis even before I came here as a faculty member, because when I was looking for a place to go to graduate school, I came up to UK and auditioned for Phyllis.
Huh,
And
You didn't
I didn't
take the
know
Yeah.
that.
yes, I
Wow.
did. And I chosen three schools. It was either going to be Alabama, where I had gone to undergraduate, UK, or the University of Illinois. And so I went to all three schools and auditioned and was invited to come as a graduate student. I think I got cold feet and stayed at Alabama instead of moving. But I thought it was very ironic that, eventually I came here as a faculty member. And Phyllis was just a force in this community. And she was
Like you.
well, look, I'm trying to walk in her shoes because, you know, Lori, a lot of people don't know that Phyllis walked to school just about every day. And
Yes.
I was so impressed with that, the fact that she just, I mean, and she taught, I guess, up to almost the end. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
she walked 2 miles to 2 miles from every day. Rain or
Yeah.
shine, other faculty would say, "Let me pick you up." Nope. She had her backpack. But before that, she would get up and run and meditate and vocalize. And she'd say her day would be shot if she wasn't in the office by 7 a.m.
That's
And
a
then
hell of a
she'd
work
do
ethic.
opera or Lexington singers. And then
Yes.
they'd all go out to Saratoga and have a few drinks. She only needed like 4 or 5 hours sleep a night.
That's amazing.
She
That,
loved every minute of
yes.
UK, of music, opera, choir, you name it.
Yeah.
And to the week before she passed, she was teaching classes and loving to be with students. So she found the right profession.
Yes. Well, and she was also teaching Russian, wasn't she? Was she doing
Yes.
Russian diction or Russian or taking it, or what was she doing?
Well, she took 10 years at UK of Russian because she started doing the Operation Read.
Mhm.
And there just happened to be a lot of people from Russia. And so she started teaching them English and they taught her Russian. But then the whole last about year or two of the voice classes, we did a lot of Russian and had her Russian friends in to help us sing the language.
Wow, that is amazing.
So she
How,
was involved.
yes, she was. How did Phyllis get to UK?
Well, she she was trained in math and science and phys ed, but loved music, went to New York, was teaching, working, and she got a call the day before they wanted her at UK and said, "Are you willing to come, blah, blah." And the last thing they asked was, "Are you obese?" I forget who it was who called her. And she said, "No, no, not obese."
I guess they can't ask that anymore. That would
They
probably be
can't
against the law.
And the next day she was on a train and they put her in the studio the next morning and she said she'd found what she was supposed to do in life. And that
Wow.
teaching was easier on her than breathing or eating or living.
Wow.
She's born
Yeah.
to teach.
Yes, yes. She was born to teach, and the students loved her, and she had students everywhere in the world. It was amazing.
And exacting person.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
she wanted to integrate the Lexington singers, and she did. And
Yes,
and to this day, we have people calling on her old phone saying, "My mother or my father was so happy, 50 years ago," and they come to the door and say what she meant for their lives, more than
Mhm.
music, almost like a guru or a sensei.
Well, I think that's the thing that I learned from Phyllis is that the world was bigger than just the studio. And she was involved in the community, and she was always involved in different activities. And she and George Zach, I think, were the two who helped me understand the importance of community. because
Oh,
you
yeah.
know she was always in the community. George was always in the community, and if you ran into either one of them at Kroger, you stop and could talk to them for 15 minutes, and they would stand there and and look at you, and you were the only person on their mind at that point,
That's
and
right.
and that was very meaningful.
She was
To
nowhere else
Yeah,
all the
that's
time in life.
yeah,
She
yeah.
was a peace activist, stood on the corner of Triangle Park for 20 years in the
Mhm.
peace movement. She was in Rails to Trails, Sierra Club. You- She ran at Todd's Road every Saturday morning. She attended every concert one could
Yes,
attend,
yes, yes, yeah.
Well,
and she loved you all.
yeah, when I first came to UK in the late 80s, the first vocal arts performer and educator that I met was Phyllis. And she was almost her own department at that time. And she was having a little bit of throat problems. She came in to see me. And the first thing she did was give me this huge hug and thank me for being there because now we have a voice doctor at
Mm,
Ah,
Kentucky.
yeah.
And after that, she's just started to introduce me to all these people and tell them that I was around. And if they needed some assistance or help, just come on by. And oh, I saw her a bunch over the years. As we get older, our voice fades a little bit. And considering how much she used her voice, it was really remarkable, really remarkable. Loved her to death. And even when I saw her last at Angela's event at the Lexington Country Club, she was still in rare form.
yeah, yeah. And I think she did recitals just about every year. Uh,
Mhm.
and I mean, even after she retired, and she continued to do recitals.
Well, Angela was at her 95th birthday recital.
Is that
That's
right?
Remember
amazing.
that, Angela? She sang some Russian and German and did it at Temple Adat Israel where she taught.
Yeah,
Was
I
all dressed up,
remember.
and she didn't want another concert that she would do till her 100th birthday. She didn't
Wow.
want odd years.
I think what she was so true to her art. She was no nonsense and she didn't waste her energy on anything
Mhm,
except
mhm,
perfecting the art. That
mhm.
was always in front of her. That was her goal. And everything she did in helping her students, we all knew that that was the goal. That yes, we could be friends and have a good time, but Phyllis was so serious about this art.
Yes,
Exactly.
She never let go of that.
yes, yes,
And it was always about that with Phyllis. Let's get to
yes,
work. Let's go to work now.
yeah.
Are you finished talking? Let's work. So
Even the week before she passed, she had 2 classes that weekend, and a woman got up to do a Duparc piece, a French piece, and she hadn't really worked that week. And she started to talk about it, and Phyllis said, "Don't talk, sing." And then she started to sing, and Phyllis said, "Stop. You need another week's work. Please sit down. Don't waste my time." But the students still knew that was for her best. None of them, well, they'd leave if they took it too serious, but they understood that she wasn't to be messed with.
Mhm.
You better have practiced.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can tell you that you all of you, have made such a tremendous contribution to this community. And, people talk to me a lot about how wonderful things are, and I will always say that it's a team effort, and it's a team effort that involves people like Angela, like Lori, like Becky, like Sandy. It's a team effort to do these things, and
Mhm.
we are certainly appreciative of all of you for being in the community and staying in the community and contributing so much. And these students benefit. And it's always wonderful for me when students go out into the profession and they realize after they get out what a wonderful professional environment that they had right here in their Lexington community.
Okay.
And that's very exciting. So thank you all for doing this and for being involved and taking a little time to talk about Ellen and Phyllis.
And I just want to say that it is a true pleasure to be able to award the Ellen Rice Service Award to Phyllis. Both people, Ellen and Phyllis, so deserving, will be sorely missed, but certainly never forgotten. So thank you all for sharing them with us. It's been
I'd
really
like everyone to know that Phyllis and Ellen were very, very dear friends. They may not know how well they knew each other and loved each other. So this award is
perfect.
poignant. It's poignant that the two are together in this.
They will certainly not be forgotten.